Hey guys, and welcome to a new video in this deep learning tutorial. In this video here, we're going to have an introduction to Hugging Face. So Hugging Face is basically just like a whole framework for like open source models. So you can basically use their framework to import different kind of models, both for like computer vision, natural language processing, and so on. You can download different kind of like architectures, pre-trained models. You can even like do some transfer learning where you have some pre-trained models and then you transfer that to your own data set and so on. And then you can use this framework here to get started with it very easily. But first of all, remember to hit the subscribe button and bell notification under the video here. Only 10% of you guys watching these videos here actually subscribe to the channel. It's just a single click and help me and the YouTube channel out in a massive way. You can also become a member of the channel if you want to support the channel with a small monthly fee. Everything will go to create more and better quality content here on the channel. Also, if you're a member of the channel, I can help you out in your own projects. If you have some problems and so on, I can help you out and give you guidance if you're a member of the channel. So thank you guys. So here we can see the website. It is built some kind of the same way as GitHub. So we have these different kind of like repositories that we can create. We have both our models, data sets. We can upload that here to Hugging Face, and then we can just like switch between our computers and so on. But here we're just going to go through it. We can see that we have these different kind of tabs up here at the top. So we'll have models, data sets, spaces. We also have some documentation. So first of all here, we should probably just start here in the documentation and go through that. So first of all, we have like the hub here. We can get documentation for all of these different kind of things. And in one of the previous videos, we had an introduction to transformers where we talked about this state-of-the-art neural network architecture within like machine learning and deep learning right now. We can both use it in PyTorch and TensorFlow with the use of Hugging Face. We also have some data set that we can access, so we can see we can access and share data sets for computer vision, audio, and natural language processing tasks. We also have some tokenizer because we need to like actually have our data. We need to have a tokenizer transforming our data into tokens, and then we can actually have those tokens as embeddings and inputs to our model. We can also see we have an API, inference API here, where we can use more than 30K models through our inference API. So basically just go in, call a line of code with the model that you want to use, and then all of those pre-trained models will be here on Hugging Face. So we can also see some other different kind of things. We also have something called Gradio, which we're going to cover in another video. So we can actually like build like web apps for demos and so on in just a few lines of Python. So we're basically just going to like create our model. Then we can just have a simple website where we can actually like, for example, like upload an image, and then we can pass that through our model and we will get some results. So this is really good for doing like prototyping and demos for others. So we can also accelerate here with some like GPUs, TPUs, and so on. We can see all these other different kind of things. We also have some courses, but the most important ones is probably like the transformers, the tokenizers, and also the data sets, which is also what we're going to cover most in these videos about Hugging Face. So let's just go into transformers, for example. Then we can see the documentation, how that is set up. So basically over here to the left, we have like some introduction to transformers. We have a quick tour. We also have some installation processes, how we can actually set this up. I'm going to cover that later in this video here. And then we also have some tutorials here where we can set up a pipeline for inference. We can also load some pre-trained instances with an auto class. In the next video, we're going to cover what is an auto class, how can we set that up, and how can we use that with Hugging Face. We can also do some pre-processing to our input. We can fine-tune a pre-trained model, so we actually like using something called transfer learning, which I've also covered here on my channel. So we can also use the different kind of like frameworks, for example, like TensorFlow and PyTorch to do pre-training of our model. But we need to write like a bunch of more code to actually like make that work, where if we're just using Hugging Face, we just have a couple of lines of code. We can load in a model directly with the name, and then we can just fine tune that pre-trained model with our own data set. We can also do some distributed training here with GPUs and so on. We can also share a model. There's also some how-to guides, so how we can use tokenizers from the tokenizers module within Hugging Face. So all these different kind of things, we're going to cover that. So we're maybe going to create a tutorial where this video here is just an introduction to show you guys this really cool framework that we're going to use in the upcoming videos here on the channel. So basically, I can just go into some of the tutorials. So we can go inside the pipeline here. We're going to use this pipeline function in a second here, where I'm just going to show you that in a video where we're going to use the pipeline, how we can set that up really fast for inference with different kind of models. We can both do like translation, we can do natural language processing, classification if this like text is positive or negative, or we can do some like spam filtering and so on. But here we can just see the documentation for all of it. We can see how to set it up and so on. So you can go through that if you want to. You can learn a lot by just going to this website here and scroll through the tutorials and also the different kind of like modules and also these different kind of like sub modules up here at the top. So we have the models, dataset, and the spaces. So here we basically just have all the models. If we're going to here, we can see the tasks that we can solve. So we can both do like image classification, translation, image segmentation, and so on. You can read like all of the tasks here. We can also see the libraries, which is actually like supported. So we have PyTorch, TensorFlow, and also some other different kind of libraries. But the most important ones are PyTorch and TensorFlow. We can also see some datasets here that are available. So we have some Wikipedia and all these different kind of things, languages, if you want to do language translation, or you just want to do like a summary of a text and so on. You can basically just take a text, then you can create a summary by just having one line of code. You just create a pipeline, you pass in that text to the actual like the pipeline, and then you just specify what model do you want to do the summary with, and then you can basically just get the output out. You can pass in like a text with 50 lines of text, and then you can just get an output out with like 2 lines just summarizing what was actually like going on in that text. So this is really cool. Over here to the right, we can see the different kind of models. So here we can see they have almost like 65,000 models. We can filter it by name here, and then we can actually like sort it by the most downloads. So one of the most downloaded one is the Berta here from Microsoft. We can also scroll down. We have GPT-2 here. We also have some BERT and all these. There are different kind of things. We can also go up here and filtering so we can have like the most likes or like recently updated. And then we can just get all of these different kind of models, and these are pre-trained models. You can just go in directly use those. You can fine tune them for your own data set. You don't need to set up the architecture. You just need to like go in here, use Hugging Face to do all of that stuff for you, and then you can just use it in your own projects and applications. So there's the models. We can also go into the data sets, so we can have different kind of data sets for if we're doing like natural language processing or some other different kind of things. We can specify the size of our data set. We can also like specify the licenses. So if you want to use like, so all of these licenses here is basically just like open source licenses, because the Hugging Face is actually like also open source. So you can use it for whatever you want to. So over here to the right, we can basically just see the data sets. So here we have the red caps. Again, we're just sorted with the most downloads. So you can just go into that, and then you can basically just download it in here. You will also get some ideas of like how we can pre-process that data set. You just get these different kind of like code snippets. You can just directly copy paste those. So you can basically just like load data set. You can specify the name of that data set, and then it will actually like load that data set. Then you can just directly use it with Hugging Face as well. So again, this is really easy. You should definitely check this out here, and also subscribe to the channel, because I will create more videos, like way more videos about this Hugging Face framework, because it's just so cool. We can also go up into the spaces here. So basically like the spaces here is how we can create an app for like visualizing and actually like showing off what our models actually like doing. So down here at the bottom, we can see some like video transformers, compare reinforcement learning stuff. Here we have transfer variational encoders. So we can basically just go in here, try to use some of them. So let's try this one here, and then we can basically just see what this app is doing. So this is zero-shot object detection with OWL VIT. Then you can drop an image here, and then you will basically just get the output directly. You can create one yourself. You can also have some text queries. We have a score threshold that you can tune, but this is basically only like all of this, like the whole interface here on the website is basically just a couple of lines of code. Then you just specify your model, your input, and then you have this really nice demo that you can show off to your friends or like your colleagues or something like that, or even maybe your boss. You can also get a lot of other different kind of like things in here. So all of these different kind of things is really cool. We also have like something called solutions. So we can see like auto train. We can create machine learning models without code. When we're using Hugging Face here, we can actually like use it, or like we can even like use this and create different kind of models without writing like that much of code. But we can also use the auto train here, where we can create machine learning models without writing anything. So that's it for this video here, guys. This was just to have like some kind of like introduction to this Hugging Face website, and also the framework that we're going to use in the upcoming videos, because this is really cool. I'm going to show you guys what is this framework actually like capable of, how can we use it for different kind of things, how can we use their models, the data sets, and so on. So I'm really excited for this. And again, remember to hit the subscribe button and bell notification under the video. hit this like button as well if you like the content and you want more in the future. It just really helps me and the YouTube channel out in a massive way. If you want to know more details about like deep learning under the hood, like the theory from scratch, I also have videos and tutorials about deep learning where we go over like the basic stuff about like how can we actually create our own neural networks, what is actually like inside of a neural network, how can we train it, optimize it, and so on. So if you're interested in that tutorial, I'll link to it up here, or else I'll just see you next week, guys. Bye for now.